A couple of weeks ago, we had recorded exercises for the upper abs. The rectus abdominis, if you remember, is a muscle which is there in the center of the abdominals, and this muscle can be divided into the upper portion and the lower portion. You had also learnt about the other muscles of the abdominal area last time round. Now, to work the abdominals really well, we should work out the upper abdominal separately and the lower abdominal separately. Since we've spoken about the upper abdominal exercises in the last video, this time we'll be talking about the lower abdominal exercises. The abdominals, as you remember, are called the cores, and the core is located in the center and attaches the chest above to the legs below. And this area also has a very thin line of bones called the spinal column, and because there is only a thin line of bones, the entire weight bearing of the entire body is done by the musculature. So whether you're playing sport like squash or you're playing cricket or you're going ahead and walking, it is really the core muscles, which consists of the back and the abdominal muscles, which go ahead and make sure that the entire body is held together and held firmly. Also, because man has moved on from being a four-legged creature to a two-legged creature, it becomes very important to strengthen this part such that your spinal column does not bear your entire weight and the weight is distributed over these muscles as well. Therefore, working out the lower and the upper abdominals are very important. Women especially, lower abdominal exercises are even more important than the upper abdominal exercises, because women tend to have a pear shape by which the fat is distributed in the lower part of the body more than the upper part of the body. And the pear shape means that you will have more fat in your lower abdomen, in your waist, part of the waist, in your hips, and in your thighs. And therefore, working out the lower part of the waist by doing leg raising exercises is very, very important. So we are now demonstrating the leg raises. In the leg raises, you're trying and keeping the knee completely straight so that the lever is basically at the abdominals, and you're raising the legs. Since the abdominal muscles become continuous with the thigh muscles with the help of all the ligaments which are there, raising the legs goes ahead and causes the legs. Raising the legs causes the lower abdominal muscles to contract, and as you lift the legs, the lower abdominal muscles are contracting, while you lower the legs, the abdominal muscles are relaxing. So the way to do this exercise is to exhale with your mouth as you're lifting the legs, keeping the legs completely straight, and then you come back to a resting position. You are actually inhaling. So you're inhaling as the legs go down and exhaling as the legs go up, and the muscles are contracting. Most important part is to keep your knees completely straight and not bend your knees at all. Also, don't come down right and touch the floor. Stop about 5 degrees above the floor. This will make sure that your muscles are always under tension and are not getting relaxed by you coming down and putting your legs on the floor. If you're lying down on the floor without a mat, placing your hands below the hips can prevent your hip bone or your coccyx from banging into the floor, and therefore can make this exercise slightly more comfortable. Otherwise, use a yoga mat. That is the best way to do it. Now, this is a exercise, the next exercise, which is called the number writing. In this exercise, you try and assume that there is a board in front of your legs, and with your legs, you're writing on that board. So you're actually writing from 1 to 10, and my leg writing is not that good, but you can actually see how it will appear if you try to write 1 to 10 with your legs. And if you're writing on the board in front of you, you can then get exercise in various different quadrants, thereby giving the lower abs a really good workout. The basics remain just like the straight up and down leg raise, but the number writing makes since the motion in the number writing is in different directions, it can make this exercise much harder and also work out your rectus abdominis as well as your obliques at the same time, thereby giving you a thin waist as well. The next exercise are the hip raises. In this, what you're doing is you're trying to, without using a rocking motion, in a controlled manner, you're trying to raise your knees towards your nose. So basically, it's like a reverse crunch which is being done. And in the hip raises, you're raising your hips off the floor, rolling your spine backwards, and trying to take your knees towards your nose. This goes ahead and does a very good job of making the lower abdominals work hard and against resistance of gravity, thereby giving you a good workout. Next exercises are the scissor kicks. The scissor kicks, as they are called, you're basically crossing and uncrossing your legs like scissors. So sometimes the right leg, once the right leg goes over the left leg, and the next time the left leg goes over the right leg. And by alternating legs in this manner and going from top to bottom, you replicate a scissors cutting action and thereby work out the rectus abdominis as well as the obliques and give the lower abdominals a very good workout. In addition to the hip thrusts, which are towards your nose, you can also do the hip raises. In this, you're trying to take the knee towards the ceiling rather than towards your nose. And by doing the hip raises, you're basically going ahead and utilizing the stabilizing action of the abdominal muscles, and in order to tighten the abdominal muscles as you're raising your hips off the floor. If you follow all these exercises and do 3 sets of each exercise and do as many reps as you can, you just once a week, you will go ahead and get very good lower abdominals. The added advantage of getting good lower abdominals will be, in addition to your waist size decreasing, you will also find greater strength and greater power in your shots when you're playing squash or you're playing cricket or any of these other sports. And it will also reduce your chances of getting backache, which you get from a bad posture or sitting and standing as the human being normally does all throughout the day. So these are absolutely essential exercises. No wonder that these muscles are called the core muscles, which means that they should be core to any of your workout philosophy and any of your exercises that you do throughout the week.